So, Congresswoman, I want to ask you about this debate that we're seeing over critical race theory. Do you think Republican efforts to redefine it and use it as a scare tactic, do you think it's working?
Well, I do think it's working because what we have seen is that the Republican base and the Republican Party has really pivoted to a strategy of using race and using just the changing demographics of this country. And as we saw on January 6th, using a white supremacist core logic in order to reanimate a very core fear in this country of the other. And so what's really important is that we come together and have a very strong rebuttal to that core logic, not just in fact-checking Republican claims, but actually confronting the core logic and addressing the core fears that they are trying to really tap into when they try to use terms like critical race theory as a proxy for just talking about race in schools in general.
Mm-hmm. You know, in places like Texas.
That's obviously Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talking about the critical race theory. Now, she says that Republicans are using fear tactics by using terms critical race theory, when critical race theory is very much a real thing. Teachers know about it. They want to teach. They want to teach about it. But how do we know? We had what was her name, Megan Geha, teacher in in Iowa, what have you. I'm sure I've got that wrong. Here, I'm gonna let you listen to Ms. Geha talking about the supposed fake, false premise of critical race theory. I'm going to let you hear it in her own words.
Today is the first time our country has recognized Juneteenth as a national holiday, and yet I'm getting ready to go back to school in the fall, and my governor has put into place some ridiculous legislation that many governors across the country have put into place, such as I can't teach anything divisive, I can't teach critical race theory, and I can't teach about racial equity. This is at all public schools, colleges, and universities. So, teachers, in the past, we've been activists. After this shit show of last year, we really need to stand up and do what's right for our kids right now. So this is a call to action, teachers. We got to stand up and fight for our kids because this is bullshit. We can't lie to them.
That is, again, Miss Megan Geha talking about how she wants to teach the what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says was a scare tactic, the concept of critical race theory. I did see someone, CRT, they wrote that it means they're already trying to change what CRT actually means. CRT, critical race theory, that exists. And they're trying to teach that in our schools. I saw someone posted it as cultural responsibility teaching, something along that lines. So they're already trying to change the name of this thing that is going to literally scar our children and, of course, undermine the American concept. Ada Jet Noise, ADA Jet Noise on Rumble.com, YouTube.com, Facebook.com, Parlor.com. Thanks for joining me today. Please check me out and hit like, thumbs up, complain pat me on the back, what have you. I'll take it as I'll take compliments as best as I possibly can. But yeah, please hit me up. And the whole point of Ada Jet Noise is what I'm trying to do is start the conversation. I don't have to be right. I just have to start the conversation. Critical race theory or cultural responsibility teaching. That's not going to stick. Critical race theory. If you do not know what critical race theory is by now, let me lift your rock up and get you out from under there. Critical race theory is the teaching of our children that skin color is the primary source on how we should react to one another. It's true. It's absolutely true. Here, let me give you the 3 takeaways when you look into critical race theory. Critical race theory makes race the prism through which its proponents analyze all aspects of American life. CRT underpins identity politics, which reimagines the U.S. as a nation riven by groups, each with specific claims on victimization. CRT intolerance can be found in schools, the workplace, and the entertainment sector, normalizing belief in the systemic racism for the average American. That last little blurb there. You saw that with Coca-Cola, where they were telling their employees that you don't want to be too white, or you don't want to hire too many white. That you want to get away from whiteness. Whatever that actually means. And Coca-Cola is not the only company that's done it. Disney's come out, and Disney, Pepsi. Pepsi was actually one of the first. People don't talk about that much. People right away when Coca-Cola, when their little agenda came out about they don't want to work with companies, law firms, or anything like that don't have 50% black people in there, or what have you, or you don't want to hire too many white people, or you want to get away from whiteness. Pepsi was actually one of the first years ago. Remember the whole Kendall Jenner Pepsi commercial where they showed the riot in the street, or I'm sorry, the peaceful protest in the street. They were promoting that. Levi's has done that. You name it. Old Navy. All these little companies coming out and saying that maybe being white is a little bit of a problem, right? Amazon. All these companies immediately go from being customer oriented to being against white people. Because technically they're not pro-black. Just they put a couple of black faces on your websites or in your commercials, or you say, hey, look. Hey, we support black businesses. Well, you're supposed to just support business, right? With critical race theory, the first little takeaway, critical race theory makes race the prism through which its proponents analyze all aspects of American life. That actually completely cuts someone like Martin Luther King at the knees, right? The theory of Martin Luther King when he says that he wants people to be judged by their character and not by the color of their skin, that does not stand. That is what is being taught in our schools with critical race theory. That if you are white, you are inherently racist and you are bad. And if you are black, you are or Hispanic or POCs, POCs, people of color. If you are not white, again, black or Hispanic, you are simply a victim. That you cannot function because white people exist. You cannot earn proper, a proper income. You cannot vote. You cannot learn. You cannot advance. You can't have houses. You can't drive cars. You can't get your license. You can't do anything because white people are in the way. That is what critical race theory is being. Immediately, the bottom line on that concept is whites are superior and blacks and everyone else are inferior. That is literally what critical race theory is teaching. Does that not sound like actual white supremacist teaching? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that the reason parents do not want that rail against critical race theory, BLM, the fringe, the radical LGBTQ movement, the idea that she says that not teaching it is by a white supremacist theory or I should say is because of a white supremacy is ridiculous. Because what they're actually teaching, again, white people have all the power. Black people will never, ever have the power. Miss Gayha said that she can't teach divisiveness. Why? She literally says, we can't teach divisiveness. Why would you want to teach divisiveness? She says we can't teach critical race theory. And then she mentions, I'm drawing a blank here. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. But she says that they can't teach racial equity. Thanks. It finally fell into my head. So for those of you that were praying for me, thank you so much. Racial equity. Racial equity sounds, on the surface, sounds like something that's supposed to be. But keep in mind, equity and equality are two different things. What she's saying when she says she can't teach racial equity means that she is not allowed to teach white kids that they're not supposed to try to thrive too much, that they shouldn't have too much, and that black children and Hispanic children cannot possibly have too much because the system is against them. So what racial equity means, cutting back, not getting people of color up here. It means getting people that are white down here. So instead of moving forward and striving for the best, everyone should be happy with a bus pass, living in apartments, food rationings. I'm just kind of like painting a picture here. So if your house is too big, you must be white. So you have to reconsider that. And you have to get down to the house, the same houses that the people of color have, which isn't too big. This is the picture they're painting, as if black people cannot have big houses, fancy cars, lots of money. CRT is literally teaching victimization. I had a friend who said that one of her grandchildren, as they were young, used to like watching shows about, a lot of boys, some girls, like to watch, heavy machinery, bulldozers, cherry pickers, earth movers. He enjoyed those particular things, so he would want to watch those things. And she said that she would get angry at and not angry enough to fight, but get kind of upset at mom, because mom would say, "Get that off my TV. I'm not watching that." And my friend would say, that's it, if he wants to watch that thing, he should be watching that thing. If that's going to encourage him to step forward and do that type of stuff, that's good for the whole family. Am I right? Or am I wrong? That is coming from a black family. That is coming from a black family. The discouragement of a child doing something that or visualize, or being able to see something that really interests them, that could get them to a better place in the future when they grow up. That's what CRT is. That is discouraging black people from striving forward and trying to pull and convince white people to fall back. BLM, obviously a part of critical race theory. Let me show you this set of parents here, and their feelings about what is being taught in critical race theory, particularly coming from BLM.
I always ask people, have you ever been to the Black Lives Matter website? Most people say no. Let me show you 3 things that I saw on there that goes against my Christian viewpoints. And as a taxpayer, I do not want to see this agenda, this indoctrination pushed on my 4 children. What I saw was, if you go to Black Lives Matter website, it says that they support sexual perversion, which they, in their own words, we foster a queer affirming network. This is America. You could be who you want to be. You can love who you want to love. But that indoctrination, that teaching should not be forced on everyone. It also says that we disrupt the nuclear family. That's my wife. This is our 4 children. Why would you disrupt the nuclear family? In most black communities, the father is not there. That's why we're seeing so many issues and so many problems. Why disrupt that? Amen. Another thing you'll see is that they say we engage comrades. They, in their own words, their leader said they are trained Marxists. Trained Marxists. I'm an American. I believe in American exceptionalism. I believe America is the best country ever. Another thing I want to point out, bring this over here.
That is those parents are the gentleman and his wife are absolutely right. What's happening, and again, this isn't just attacking the black community. This is attacking the white community. It's attacking America. The American exceptionalism it's attacking the whole concept of America. It's attacking the forward progress of people finally being able to get along despite skin color. If you're looking at watching this right now and you're saying that there's racism, of course there's racism. There's far more than that. There's hates of homosexuals. There's hates of conservatives. There's hate of millennials. Hate is a disagreement, conflict. All those things don't go away. But to immediately go back to skin being the decision or being the basis of what you decide someone is like, that was seriously being challenged, positively challenged in these last few decades. Look, we can. This is going to come up a million times, in different angles. But basically what I wanted to get at today was talk to your kids every a couple of times a week. What you learn in school. They say every day, but your kids they give them a break. You know how that felt. What'd you do today? You don't want to. Your parents prying, but you don't want them to get tired of that. So, as a parent, you want to pry. So maybe a couple of days in the week. What'd you learn today? What'd you talk about? Let me see some of your curriculum. Let me see some of your homework. Find out what is going on in the schools. Go to the open houses. Question if things that you don't necessarily understand. Find out what is going on in the schools. Because like Miss Gahar said, she wants to teach critical race theory, racial equity. She wants to teach divisiveness. As a black parent, are you happy with someone telling your black child that they cannot make it in what they strive for? Are you happy with that? That they aren't worthy, or they'll never be worthy of success simply because of their skin color. That goes for Hispanic parents. That goes for Asian parents. Simply because of and Asian, that's a whole nother argument. That's because right now there is a segment of the critical race theory supporters that do not like Asian people because of their success. But in their culture, educational success is incredibly important. This goes back to what I was saying about my friend and when the mother told the child to take the watching contractor programs or what have you, construction programs, engineering programs, to take that off of the TV. They didn't want to watch that. It's not that every black family is against that, but there is a culture. What can I get now, as opposed to what is best for me later. And in the Asian community, what is best for me later is incredibly important. That's a whole other thing. But ask your child, and ask your child what they're doing in schools, and ask yourself, ask yourself if it is important to you. Is it important enough for your children to understand that they will never make it because they are black? And then the same thing goes for the white parents. Ask them what's going on in the schools, and ask yourself, are you comfortable with your child being told that they are inherently evil simply because they are white? And they should not strive forward for anything. And if they do, that they did not earn that properly, so they need to give that away. They need to give their earnings away. Bottom line with critical race theory. Whites. Critical race theory is teaching that whites will forever be superior, and then anyone of color, black, Hispanic, Asian, or indifferent, what have you, is inferior. That is what critical race theory is teaching. Are you happy with that? CRT. They're trying to camouflage it right now. They will teach it. They will find a way to teach it. It is up to you as a parent to squash it. Bottom line. No one is inferior. No one of God's children is inferior to anyone. You may want to act like that, but that's not what he put together. Thanks for joining me. Ada Jet Noise, ADA Jet Noise, Rumble.com, YouTube.com, Facebook.com, Parlor.com. Thanks for joining me. Please find me, hit me up, argue, compliments. I'll take them as best as I possibly can. Hit like, subscribe. Love to have you. Love to have you. CRT, stopping in its tracks, and if you don't know what it is, you're being part of the problem. If you are still living under a rock and you do not know what CRT is, you are indeed a part of the problem. I'm sorry. Talk to you soon. Till then, big hug, be good, be still, enjoy your life.